Some great museums for you and the family to enjoy here in the city of Ottawa. And most of us, I would say, enjoy a nice glass of wine, but I'm sure many of us don't realize why we like the types of wines that we do. Well, our next guest can help us with just that. We're joined by Martha Kelly, Director of the Capital Wine School. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you back here, Martha.
Jared.
And a great topic, too, because I think we were talking at the top of the show, you know, Faye loves Merlot. I love Chardonnay. I don't know why I like it, but you can actually break it down for us. Why do we like the wines that we do?
It's a matter of taste, and everyone's palate is different. And just like you like different foods, you can't expect everyone to like the same types of foods.
Right.
And a simple way I can often identify what type of wine people are going to like is by asking them if they drink coffee or tea, and if so, how they take it.
Okay.
So with black or with milk or cream and sugar, and then I can often decipher, particularly with red wines, what type you'll like.
Oh, why is that? Just because
people have different tolerances for astringency, so dryness in your mouth.
Okay.
For bitterness, so coffee may be a more bitter beverage than tea.
Right.
And if you like your coffee black, you have tolerance for wines with stronger flavors, maybe a bit more astringency, maybe a bit of bitterness. But if you cut that with milk and or sugar, then I can tell that you might like a softer wine, like a Merlot.
How do you take your coffee?
True. I was just
How do
going
you
to
take
say,
your
like,
coffee?
heavy cream and sugar.
Yeah,
So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, there you
If you're
go.
a double kind of girl,
Yeah.
you like a full-bodied wine,
Yeah.
but you're going to like a more New World style, grown in a warmer climate.
So let's use the example of Merlot with Faye. So if she likes Merlot, what other types of wines may she enjoy?
Well, Merlot has a lot of red fruit flavors and dark fruit flavors, softer tannins, which means it's not very drying or astringent in your mouth,
Okay.
and it's an easy drinking wine. If you look at those characteristics, Malbec has some similar characteristics. It has more dark fruit and chocolate flavors, but often the soft tannins in the full body.
Okay.
And Carmenere is another one. From Bordeaux, but best known from being from Chile.
Okay.
Also is very similar in those characteristics.
What about a Chianti?
So-
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever it's
You
called.
wanna-
Yeah, whatever you
Do you
call
like,
it
do
there.
you like Chianti?
I do. So I
Okay.
was just wondering, I don't know, maybe it's
From
similar,
the Tuscany region of
Okay.
Italy. It's made primarily with the Sangiovese grape.
Okay. Is it Chianti? Or
Chianti. You're
Chianti.
right.
Okay.
You're right.
Good.
So is it have to do mostly, like, I think a lot of people are confused with grape variety. Now when you talk about a Chardonnay, is it a Chardonnay grape, or is it a blend of different
That's
grapes?
a grape variety.
Okay, so that
And
is a grape variety,
that's
but not
grape
all
variety.
wines are named for a grape variety,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Correct.
So how do you decipher? How do you know?
Well, understanding, simply you just need to know which is a
You just
grape
need to
variety.
educate yourself.
Educate yourself
Okay.
a little bit. So Pinot Grigio is a grape variety. Chardonnay is a grape variety. Sauvignon Blanc is a grape variety.
Right.
I think last time I was on, we talked about there are some wines, particularly from France and Italy, that are named for the region. So
Right.
Burgundy, white Burgundy, is Chardonnay. But that's something you would just have to learn.
Right. So how do you assess then a wine's quality? Because that's another confusing part. You go into the store and you just think, well, that's more expensive than this one, so you just assume it's a better quality wine. How can you really assess a wine's quality?
When you experience a wine, there are 4 criteria that you can use, and you can do them quite quickly. One is balance.
Okay.
So is everything in balance? Is the alcohol too hot? Is the acidity, too puckering? Or is everything harmonious? So balance is one thing.
Okay.
Length on the palate is probably the greatest indicator of quality. So if it's the good flavors stay on your palate for more than a minute, that's one of the best indicators of a good quality wine. One that you can sip and savor and continue your conversation and still taste.
Okay.
Okay.
Intensity of flavors. How much can you taste what's in your glass? How powerful are they? And finally, complexity. So that's something that requires a bit more thought, but is it just 1 or 2 or 3 flavors, just a little bit of fruit and apple, or, does it go on? You've heard crazy descriptors like cigar box and farmyard, but those layered on top of fruit, vanilla, spices, and those layers of complexity. So balance, length, intensity, complexity.
Okay.
So do you think that when you go and you buy a more expensive wine, does that necessarily mean it's better than the cheaper one, or?
It doesn't at all. I'm always thrilled when I can find a value wine that I adore, and so are my close friends when I recommend them. But some of the reasons why wines cost more than others are, they could come from more specified vineyards where the land costs are higher. Labor costs could be higher. An oak barrel costs $900 US. So if they're spending time in oak, or if they're doing a better selection, they're taking the top quality, ripest grapes and using those. So there are often reasons why they cost more, and they do equate to quality. However, there are great value wines.
Okay, well, let's pick your brain. Right? We've got Martha here. So what's a great value wine that you would recommend to people out there?
Right now, I'm loving wines out of the Douro region of Portugal. So it's the same region where the grapes are grown for port. They're full-bodied. The wines will be full-bodied red wines, fruit-forward, actually very similar to Cabernet Sauvignon. A lot of dark fruit flavors, a little bit of spices like black pepper and cinnamon and vanilla in there. And they are often under $10 a bottle.
Really?
So I highly recommend check out the Portugal section of the LCBO, and red wines from Portugal.
Got it.
I always think when it's less than $10 that I'll get a headache. I don't know why.
No, go for it.
No, just do it.
If you find one,
it's a psychological thing for you.
You know, sometimes you obviously you drink too much, you get a headache. But sometimes you'll have 2 glasses of wine, and the next day you'll kind of be like, oh.
The only thing it could be in the winemaking process. If the wines are made quickly, they use sulfur dioxide sometimes in winemaking to kill any to prevent microbial spoilage. So they could have slightly higher levels of sulfites
and some
in it.
people are more intolerant to it.
And you might be more sensitive to that.
One last question quickly. How do you know if you should age a wine or not?
That's a great question, and I know a lot of people who have cellars stocked full, but they have no idea when to drink these beautiful wines.
So true.
So 3 things that I look for. If it still has fruit flavors, a lot of fruit-forward flavors, you could age it because those fruit flavors have something to become. They're going to change into more of those earthy flavors, but you still want the fruit to last. Another reason the wine has to have a reason to age. If it's drinking well right now, drink it.
Right.
You don't have to hold on to it. But that being said, it also has to have acidity, a mouth-watering feel right now, so that when it ages and you open it, it's still a refreshing beverage.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad I asked. Well, and you teach all of this to people, which is the great thing. They can call you 613-866-3340, and you can also visit capitalwineschool.ca to find out more information. Thank you so much for joining us, Martha.
Thanks, Faye.
Pleasure having you back on the show. Don't go anywhere. We're talking hardwood flooring. Jay Bell on the show from Advantage Flooring. We'll be back with him right after this.